And welcome back to another episode of UltrasXI. I'm Joe.
And I'm Alex.
And we released new clothes.
If you guys haven't saw it yet,
I recommend
some pretty
you take a
sexy
look.
clothes.
Yeah, I was going to say. And they look good on everyone.
Yeah.
Not just Al.
I have it's not gonna be Joe. You're gonna see Joe rocking it too because
soon.
I ordered some of the new styles we have just so we can kind of show it off here. You guys can see the look at how it looks firsthand. And guys, I think you're really gonna enjoy this stuff. I'm in love with it, especially there's this little Messi piece. I'm not gonna say more. You can check it out yourself.
That was Al's little bit like homage to Messi.
You can check it. You can check it out yourself. I think it's. I'm in love with it. It had to have been done. Yeah, it had to be done.
But straight into it, it was a very upsetting weekend for some people.
It was, but not as upsetting as I thought it would be.
You lost 5-1.
I know, but Joe, like, tell me how those losses at the beginning of the season, I was more pissed off and like saw more red towards my team than that game. Like that game, I was honestly like, we got fucked. Like, there's no other better way to say it. Like, there was that point where Di Maria brought it to, it was 2-1. You're like, okay, maybe there's something. And then they scored right after that. And you're like, okay, this game is. I stopped watching, and then I went to go check back after I saw 5-1. I was like, okay, like thank God I stopped because I was busy like going back and forth with work. I was like, thank God I missed that. But I'm happy it happened to a team like Napoli, who this year has just they've been dominating every team they've coming up.
Well, I was gonna say, do you think that's like a one-off kind of thing, like for Juve dropping it like that much, or do you think?
Oh no, with in that regard, that's what I was just getting to. Like I don't mind losing like that to Napoli, because how good they've been playing this year, and like I got to give them credit. Like they, no matter with injuries or whatever it is, losing their 4 main players and replacing them with all new guys that no one really knew of or heard of, and they've been even better than they have been in recent years.
Osimhen really stepped up.
Osimhen stepped up really massively now in his third year now, 4th year with the club. Third year with the club. Hopefully now he can stay like healthy, because that was, I feel like, the biggest problem with him. I feel like
he's been wearing that little like mask for the last 2 years.
It was, I think he got injured or something. He broke like a bone or whatever, and he wore it, and he's just been, I think, just rocking it since he liked it.
I like it.
His problem the last 2 years, he would always get like an injury that would put him out for like a month or two, and then he would get back to like his form, but it would just that transition when he came back to kind of get back to normal and
to find his form again and consistency.
It took him a little bit. This year now he hasn't had that problem because he's been consistent and he's been actually playing and been able to play, and him and Cavaradonna, man, like,
oh yeah, dude,
they depending how the season finishes, they might be like the best duo in Europe. This season.
Oh, yeah.
The way they connect, and like these guys like first year together, who the fuck would have? You can't even tell.
Well, even Kvaratskhelia, like, who would have thought that this guy would have been what he is? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those weird transfers that you didn't even hear about him. No, like 10 mil, and it's like, okay, it's a low risk move, so like it could benefit them, but to this extent, that guy is actually almost unstoppable.
I did not expect it, especially like to replace because like you're looking at who he's replacing. He's replacing Insigne, the guy who's been captain of the team for the last 5-6 years, and just carrying that team. And he was like he was always a big part of that team. Like when he wasn't there, like he would miss a game, you noticed it. Like you noticed their attack. And then losing him and then bringing in this guy that no one really knows, it was like, okay, I think this guy's not going to be able to live up to that, and like that's where you're going to notice it.
Well, it's crazy,
like, dude, he's playing that position better than like Insigne was.
They also brought in Raspadori, who is
like that one there. I was pissed off.
Oh yeah,
because and I know you're pissed off too, because Roma was linked with him, Juve was linked with him, every Italian team was linked with him, and he reminds me like a Chiesa. Like he just has like that spark.
Yeah, he has that directness.
And I think he's eventually going to grow into that player. He's going to be like that difference maker for Italy. And if he ends up staying with Napoli or he moves to whatever team he does, I think he's going to be that type of player.
It's just crazy because he, like Raspadori, like technically speaking, I would have thought, okay, this guy's going to, when they sign him, he's going to be starting.
Yeah.
He'll probably be the one starting on left wing, whatever, even though he's not really that position. He would be the guy that slots in there, and Kvaratskhelia comes off the bench.
Yeah.
Spalletti decided he's going to do the opposite, and he's going to start with Kvaratskhelia. And, I mean, kudos to him for seeing that and recognizing that.
And for Cavaradonna just to be able to
exactly, stepping up to
just
the plate.
fit, like, dude, it's a whole new country, it's a whole different, like, especially like the Italian league, like that's one. I'm not gonna say it's nowhere near the best, but it's a very hard league to go into and to learn. I feel like for certain positions, like for guys like Chris Smalling, you saw him come to Serie A and like he looked probably better than he ever has with United. And I feel like that for defenders, it's different because Serie A it's very like
it's slow.
It's not even the fact that it's slow. It's very based on like defense. I feel like a lot of defenders will actually like thrive when they come to Serie A. Some of them won't, like a guy like De Ligt, who his game is a little bit different. That he's more of an attacking, I think, center back.
Yeah.
But a guy like Smalling, who you thought like when Roma signed him, you're like, okay, why?
I was personally pissed off.
And like I even have to say,
like, got him, I'm like,
dude, he's been Roma's like best center back like for every time he's starting on that team.
Yeah,
when he's starting, man, he makes a difference for Roma.
He's very safe.
Yeah,
very safe for us.
And another the guy like that, which I again wanted him to be good, didn't expect to replace Big Daddy Cooley Daddy, dude. Kim Min Jae. Kim Min Jae. Oh my god, Kim Min Jae, dude. He has been revolutionary for them.
Sorry,
like in that back line, dude. Because it's not even just his defense. Like you watch him, he will start some of the attacks.
Oh yeah,
like, the attacks will come from him. Like man, like I gotta give it to Napoli.
I feel like the defenders in Serie A now, like there's more of a physicality like with them. Yeah. Whereas before you saw like more of like a tactical sense from these guys, and like they were slow as shit. Yeah. And they were just very smart. Now you're starting to see like an evolution in Serie A where like look at Tomori. Yeah. Tomori's arguably the best center back in the league, if not the best. But look at him. He's fast, smart, tactically able. Like he's literally the perfect center back. Yeah. And Kim Min Jae is one of those players as well. Like he's very quick on his feet. He's very smart. He's tactically able, and he's physical. He's in your face. Again, he's good.
Guy like Cooley Daddy.
Yeah,
very tough. Look how big of a piece he was for that Napoli team, man. The guy was always defender of the year. He's like it's like the peak. He was in the peak of his. He's what 31 Koulibaly. Yeah. So this is like his best years.
Yeah.
And then this guy just comes in out of nowhere, and like that was the best move Napoli made.
Oh yeah,
selling Koulibaly and getting him. At first, I said it was a bad move because for Koulibaly, I think it's a bad move for him because at this age. At this point now, just stick it out with Napoli. Yeah. Retire there. Like, you love the city. You love it there. Retire there. But, hey, smart on. They cashed in on that. They brought him in for nearly nothing.
Well, I remember having the conversation.
I usually don't talk about De Laurentiis highly, but, hey, I got to give my hat goes off to him, man.
He's still a prick.
He is, but he's a smart guy, man.
Milan also fumbled this weekend. Yeah. Just when they thought, okay, maybe we could make some space on Juve, Milan decides they're gonna tie against Lecce.
And they got so lucky. And like I watched that whole first half, no exaggeration, like being a Juve fan, nothing. It could have easily been 5-0.
Oh yeah.
If they had a like an experienced striker, like a guy like Giroud that he's played, he knows how to finish. He might not be as fast, might not be, as gifted as some, but he knows how to finish. That game would have been 5-0.
You're talking about the Lecce, like with
Lecce, yeah, because that guy would have Di Francesco up top and Colombo.
Yeah,
like the some of the chances they were missing was like one of the guys like headed it, could have made it 3-0, and he just turned his head too much, and it just went wide of the post.
Umtiti looked like in his peak years.
Oh yeah, dude, somehow. He looked like France when they won the World Cup.
Yeah, that guy just all of a sudden was reborn and looked like a stud.
Dude, no, they like Lecce really impressed me. Like at first, I was like, obviously going to the game, I was like, okay, Milan's got it on lock. Like I was pissed, we dropped points, but watching that first half, man, I was like, yo, Lecce like could actually win this game. I had a feeling in me that Milan was going to come back. They were still going to win it at the end.
They still have too much firepower, Milan, right? They still have the likes of Leao there. They still have like
and they're still capable of finding a way, even when they're not playing the best and they can't get it going. They're smart enough that like they know how to find a way, even though if it's ugly and they just got to kind of push through. Milan knows how to find a way, not the way to win the game, but they at least got a point out of it.
I feel like this is an ongoing trend. Like whenever teams have the opportunity to capitalize on like their rival, or not even their rival, like in the standings or whatever, they're fumbling it.
Yeah.
They're somehow dropping points to like a lesser team.
Yeah.
So like we'll look at the Premier League, for example. Okay, I'm not saying Man U's a lesser team than Man U, but
Man U than Man U?
Sorry, Man City. Man U is a lesser team than Man City.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. Sorry. But a lot of people would argue that this is probably the best City team they've seen in a while. You know, it's finally complete. They have a number 9 that replaced Aguero and Haaland. They have De Bruyne in his peak. They have this, they have that, whatever.
The last 2 years, they were basically playing with no striker. They were playing De Bruyne as like that number 9, and like that's how they got to a Champions League final playing like that.
But it like a case. I've seen it. I saw this on Twitter, and I was a little bit like I kind of see where people are coming from, but a lot of people are seeing are questioning now. Like, was Haaland signing for City the demise of City? Because then it became more of a focal point on their feeding him and making sure he gets the plaudits and making sure he gets the ball and
not being able to play the way they've usually
style.
been. And what's it was weird, they said because then Aguero got hurt and then he left. They didn't have a striker. It was like whatever, let's play like this, but we should still look for a striker because we need one. But it was working for them.
Yeah,
like sometimes it may look weird, but if it works for you and you have the guys that for that system and it's going good, don't touch it. Don't fuck with it. Just if as long as you're the coach and this it's working, just replace what you have, whatever you need, but don't change anything because and I agree with you with that. Is that Haaland coming in? Yeah, I mean it's Haaland's Haaland. Like look at the guy.
Yeah, he's
a fucking animal.
The amount of goals he's gonna put in for you is
he
still
changes that
crazy.
Style of play, and
it's more of a direct rather than the pet ball.
They haven't played like that in a very long time, man. When was the last time they were playing like that? When Dzeko was their striker and Balotelli.
And don't get me wrong, all the credit to Man U. It was a great game they played. I know everyone wants to talk about that controversial goal all the time or whatever, but they still shut Man City out.
Oh yeah,
you take that goal away, whether it was controversial or not, whatever. They still won the game.
Yeah.
And they played their game very well, and they shut down Pep's team very well. And then that's another question you could ask, because Pep's not doing the best against the top teams right now. Are they finally figuring out Pep within the Premier League? Or do you think this is just one of those, they're just inconsistent right now?
Seeing, for comparing it to Juve, that have kind of been obviously not as dominant as City in Europe, but I mean, City really hasn't won anything in Europe, but they've made it. They made it further in the last couple of years than Juve. I think just over time, and the smaller teams, they will figure you out because they're just hard to play. They're always
they
running
play with those
at
backs
you. They're just tough.
Those low blocks.
But I feel especially with the bigger teams, with Juve, we were dominant. We were always beating these the big teams. We always had them. It was no worries. Juve was playing Milan this week. It's okay, we it might be a 1-0 game, but we're gonna get this win.
Yeah.
Then it got to a point where these teams were we gotta see, okay, how's Juve playing? How are they playing this year? What kind of formation they playing with? What kind of tactics are they playing with? What can we use to go against that and hope maybe it'll work and we can actually beat them?
Yeah.
Teams will try to study you. They'll try to figure it out because at the end of the day, when you're at the top, everyone's trying to bring you down.
Yeah.
And that's the way I think City now, it's with Pep, I feel they're at that point, I can see him leaving in the next couple of years because there's even with Klopp too.
I was literally just about to
they're
say
at that point, they're so high and they've done so much with the team, but it works. It did work, but it's not going to work all the time because teams figure it out. If teams know what they can do to counteract the way he plays. So for me, I think that it's going to get worse for him. He might still win the odd game here and there against Arsenal or United, whatever, but it's not going to be as smooth sailing as he usually was. And look, I mean, they're dropping points steady.
Yeah,
they're getting further and further from first place, and that's not usually City. City's always okay, how far is City ahead now? That's usually, I feel what I'm asking every year. How far are they ahead now? That's it. Then PSG.
Well, at the beginning of the season,
and Bayern, it's always the same question.
I pegged City to win it. I even said
Joe,
Arsenal got off on that.
I don't think anybody assumed anything else.
Maybe
City, man. Me saying Tottenham, but I was just kind of more hopeful that Tottenham was going to win it than
everyone was
thinking they were going to. But I think everyone thought City was going to they were going to take this. Other than United fans, because United fans are always going to say United because they have.
I mean, it goes to also show, you look at Ten Hag and you look at Mikel Arteta. Both coaches, are kind of like a student of Pep's. Ten Hag worked under Pep Guardiola for a little bit when he was coaching Bayern Munich too. Arteta was with City for how long under Pep? So now are you looking at Ten Hag and Arteta as kind of an evolved form of Pep's style of play? And that's why you'll see with Arsenal how they're thriving right now. Man U, a couple more seasons, I think under Ten Hag, you'll start to see a more distinct style, whatever, and you'll see them thrive as well. So do you think it's a matter of
them kind of being the new?
Yes. Do you think Arteta and Ten Hag are ushering in a new era in the Prem?
Well, I think like you said, they've worked with Pep in the past, and so like the way it is, like with ideas, okay. Pep has a certain idea of how to play. He obviously, working with these guys, he made everybody on that same page to, believe this idea, understand the idea, and put it, make sure that the whole team knows what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ten Hag and Arteta working with him, they kind of, they see that kind of style. They know it works, but there's always better ways of doing it. And there's always ways that you can take an idea and say, okay, this is a very good idea. What can I do?
Let me rework it to my style.
What can I do to kind of make it my own style? It's still going to be based off that, but it's going to be my style, and it's going to be different in a better way because let's say it's flawed in this in this kind of part of in the tactics. This is kind of, we can get countered on here like this. We can change it so we won't get as many counterattacks and kind of tweak it.
Yeah.
So for me, I think those two coaches, and I do think that they're very smart. Like coaches, like the smart ones and the ones that are the best are the ones that are just fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
Like Arteta will have a full conversation with a chair.
Yeah.
Just to get his ideas out there, because he has I feel like he has so many ideas. He just needs to get them out and just to talk to something.
Yeah.
And I do think him in the next maybe 5 years, you're gonna see Man U. Obviously now, I mean, they're only 2 points off of second, but you're gonna see them at that top there, first and second, and Arsenal.
Well, that's what I mean. Like you look at the table, even in Serie A. Like we'll look at both the tables, but we'll look at the Prem first. You look at the Prem table, you see Arsenal's almost like running away with it, about like almost 10 points clear, whatever. But then you look at that top five. You see second could still be caught by fourth. Even the fifth place could catch up. Yep. They're only 33. They have 33 points. Man U has 38. They could easily. That's 2 games.
From second to, I would even say like sixth, man.
Yeah, okay, don't get me wrong.
No, but
like Fulham, Brighton, whatever. But I just
like even Liverpool and Chelsea, they're 28 points, like and 9th and 10th place. Like that they're gonna make a push and they're gonna try to get up to that thing. But like that top 5, man, like it's. I don't see them like I see Newcastle. I do see them actually making a push and trying and holding that Champions League spot, because at the end of the day, if that rumor is true that Ronaldo is gonna go there if they make Champions League, why wouldn't you, if you're Newcastle, why wouldn't you try to push to make it, and then you bring Ronaldo there, and you don't have to worry about any fees or nothing. Like everything's already covered. He's gonna play there the whole year, and that's it.
Well, I feel like that would be the demise of Newcastle if they were to bring Ronaldo in, because then it becomes like a solo act almost. Like, oh look, we have Ronaldo now, blah blah blah. Like it'll
grow the team.
The experience is well needed,
and it'll attract young players to Newcastle.
And then you even look at the Serie A table.
Yeah.
That top 7.
It's literally the same thing.
Roma has 34 points. They're literally 4 points away from second place.
Tell me what's the difference between this and the Prem. But first place is kind of running with it, and then second to 6th, 7th place is close.
Well, look, and from 5th to 7th, it's a 3-way tie right there.
Yeah.
All stuck with 34 points. No one has a game in hand. No one has anything. So it just, these inconsistencies, okay, it makes for, as a neutral, it's making for a very entertaining finish.
Oh, yeah.
As a fan, this sucks dearly.
Like watching City out week in and week out, I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
Like, I can't.
I want to do,
it's everything. Every week it's different, the table. You look at it, someone's on top of this guy now, this guy on top of it. Like, it's just confusing. And looking at the Prem, I'm looking at every week it's changing. I'm like, dude, buddy.
I always say oh, just worry about your own team as long as you get the results. Blah 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 blah. But it's literally hit the point that you can't just worry about your team now.
You gotta watch.
You literally gotta be looking at every single game and hoping they drop points at any moment to absolutely anyone.
Yeah, no, dude. It's just it's become now so close. In those 2 leagues especially now, that it's just. Now it's making it more like intriguing. Like now I feel like I can't miss games. Like now I'll sit there and watch games I wouldn't watch just because like I'd be like, hey, fuck, like this game, like they can actually jump if they win this game, and I'll sit there and watch that game. Which before, a lot of times I wouldn't really care, because again, everything was all fucking spaced out. You knew who was finishing where.
You would have a 3-point gap on this team, so it's like, okay, we could drop points right now.
I'm not gonna watch this game right now.
Speaking about giving, I don't know how this even correlates, but I just want to hop to this topic now quickly. Chelsea hijacked another Arsenal player.
Yeah.
Arsenal target. Sorry, not Arsenal player. I don't want to get
I
crucified.
feel like that's a common occurrence with Arsenal when they start going for players.
Now that I saw that Declan Rice is linked with Arsenal.
Yeah, so it's confirmed.
It's confirmed Chelsea's now going to sign him.
Hey, Dex. Welcome to Chelsea, buddy.
Welcome to Chelsea, buddy. You got your dream finally. But what do you make of the signing of, I'm going to butcher his name here, Mikhail Mudryk? I don't know how to pronounce it.
From what I'm reading about him, I mean, I'm seeing people say that this kid here, he can, potentially win the Ballon d'Or one day. He's that good of a player.
Deserbi said that actually.
Yeah,
Deserbi came out. Yeah, Deserbi came out and said
say some
he
random
could win
guy.
the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, okay. I knew I was reading that. Saw him say that he can win that. He has a lot of potential. I've seen other people that have played with him say that this. I think it was. I was one of the Brazil. I'm not gonna try to guess who. I was one of the. It was like Douglas Costa or Fred. It was one of those guys that played with him at Shakhtar.
Yeah.
And they said how he's this kid's very promising, but personally I can't say too much because I haven't seen really anything on him.
Yeah, it's one of those transfers.
Other than some clips that somebody a Chelsea fan made on TikTok and on Instagram and
you see those YouTube of his highlights.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously you're just gonna choose the best moments he had.
Yeah, exactly.
What about when he's not performing? How is he then?
That's what I want to see him off the ball. I want to see just when he's having a bad game, how he picks up right after. I don't care that you're gonna put his 5 best goals there and just show me the 5 goals that he scored. So what is that what do I tell you? I think he has what 11 goals for Shakhtar.
Yeah. No, okay. less. I believe it's 6 goals, 3 assists.
Okay.
And something like that. And I think only 12 games though. He's.
Also, it was 11 games.
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah.
It was. I think that's the thing. It was only 11 games there. What does that mean? How you gonna really? What are you gonna show from a guy that's played that much? And you're gonna get what the 5 goals that he did score. You're just gonna show those there.
And I feel
that's not telling the whole story.
Shakhtar produces a lot of really good wingers.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you look at all these wingers that go and leave Shakhtar, I feel like they just don't have a lot of longevity. Do you know what I mean? You look back, Douglas Costa. Fantastic. That guy was a speed demon, unreal feet, cracking shot, whatever. Yeah. Went to Bayern Munich. What happened? The only one in recent memory that pops up into my mind, and there's not much bad you could say about him because he was a good worker, he had good feet, good shooting, whatever, everything, is Willian.
Yeah.
Willian is one of the guys in recent memory at least that came from Shakhtar and did very well. And cemented almost like a legacy and had that longevity.
Yeah.
Fred, I think Fred's a decent player, but I see a lot of people attacking him 24/7.
That's another guy. I feel like he just needs that time to adapt and people.
It's been significant time.
I know it has, but the Prem is. I feel like it's just a completely different league in its own. It's not some people can they go from La Liga to Serie A or Serie A to the Bundesliga and you'll see right away they're doing impact. You're holy fuck see he can still he still has it, he's still good. But then you see someone go to the Prem and at first you're oh my god, first because they overspend, so you're already looking at that. So I feel like that plays a big part too. But I just feel just the pace of the game and everything, it's so different and it takes time to get used to.
Well, the biggest thing with the Prem too is I feel like it is somewhat the same with Serie A, but it's more so with the Prem is the lack of patience, almost like you said. Yeah. And saying that if the team is winning, they will not point out the flaws of Fred. They'll start to realize, he's actually playing good. He's a good box to box. His role, he suits it very well. All this stuff. The second they start losing, that's when the fingers will be pointed. The fingers will be pointed at Harry Maguire. The fingers will be pointed at Fred, at this guy.
Rashford, this guy.
Yeah. Wasn't there a moment in time that they despised Rashford?
Yeah, last season. Because the season before Ronaldo came in Europa League, I think that was when they won.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He played amazing. Oh no, that's when they lost in the final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
They lost to Villarreal.
Yes, because they won when they had Mkhitaryan and Ibra.
They lost in the final, and he had a phenomenal year. Then last year with Ronaldo, he couldn't get going. He was very shaky, and everyone was.
But that was the whole team.
I know it was, but people look at the player Maguire. Maguire, the guy was probably getting death threats every second of the day. Rashford, he couldn't get going, and he was just probably getting in his own head because he knew that he was better, and it wasn't working. Whether it was the style, the coach, whatever it was, he was getting frustrated. Now this year, it's a whole new player. The way he's been playing,
he's revitalized now. Because the pressure was taken off him by Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Ten Hag came in, knew his ability, his versatility in playing in anywhere,
and knew how to handle him,
and knew how to handle him. You know, he let their striker and Martial work a little bit harder off the ball, pressuring and like all stuff like that. So Rashford would have that freedom to attack, to do his thing and cook. Like, you know, what he's best at. Before I get completely off topic and sidetracked, I want to go back to the Mudryk thing. Do you think this is a good deal for Chelsea? I feel like last week we were talking about Joao Felix, and we were saying how like I was saying
that's how Chelsea moves, man.
They had other stuff to go for and whatever.
They're making it every week. We're talking about them.
These guys are. How much have they spent so far? I think it was 300 and something mil so far. It's like Jesus Christ, and like you saw a couple of their new transfers actually play this week. That they got their 1-0 win over Crystal Palace. Well done, finally. Baduashile played. Koulibaly actually came in as a sub. Chukwueke, I don't know how to say his name actually. That guy Carney. I know how to say his first name and that's it. He played, you know, like a lot of their newer signings were playing and they were looking decent enough. You know, now with the addition of Mudryk, who's a winger, do you think that this will be beneficial for Chelsea? Or do you think, like, again, this is one of those moves that shouldn't have happened and they should have looked at depth for other positions?
But not even just depth. I feel like Chelsea, like that's not the position they should have been looking at. They should have been looking at, you know, midfielders. You got your Conte, your Jorginho. These guys that have been starting for you and part of the Champions League winning team and why they were so good are getting old now and their contracts are done and they're probably not re-signing. They're going to be gone this summer. So you got to look at start replacing that. Even Kovacic, look at getting rid of him because hasn't been that good.
Yeah.
Like you're Chelsea, you're in the Premier League. If you want to be like you can clearly, like, they can clearly attract any name they want.
Yeah,
like you see,
they have the money to drop on absolutely everyone.
This guy was linked with Arsenal for the longest time, and then all of a sudden Chelsea comes in,
and he was apparently dying for Arsenal too.
Yeah, like dude, he was dropping hints and everything.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like when I saw that, I was like, okay, that makes no sense. Like I did not think Chelsea was gonna get him, and then they got him within like seconds. Like Fabrizio Romano tweeted like, okay, Chelsea, you know, think they're gonna offer this. I think it was like 20 minutes later. Here we go. He signed. I was like, what the fuck? Like Chelsea have that ability, but I don't think he was the right guy to go for right now. Is that really going to change for Todd because he's going to still spend the money in the summertime? But now it's kind of just it might fuck them because now if they don't make the proper signings and they're still lacking in defense where you have Azpilicueta still playing and the midfield, they might not get that top 5, top 6 spot, get into any Europe competitions. Then are you really going to start attracting names?
I feel like that's the biggest thing, right? I think they'll struggle next season with signing players without that whole, like, we have European soccer to look forward to. You know,
I don't think they will as bad. Like I think Declan Rice, like he
money
will be,
talks at the end of the day.
He will be signed. Like I know he's linked with Arsenal now, but like jokes aside, like I could still see him going there because he was a Chelsea fan growing up, and Chelsea they're in need of that kind of player right now, and he would be the perfect replacement for Conte, Jorginho. Yeah, and then for me, honestly, I know a Juve player, Zakaria. I would love him back, but he's been playing really good there, and he's suiting that style better than he was in Serie A.
I don't think that Chelsea will exercise that buy though.
See, that's the thing. I don't know if they will either, but I kind of hope they do. Like not even just for the money, because I mean, hey, the money's not going to me, but I hope they do because I feel like he was playing better there, and he can have a better career staying there, and then whatever if he goes anywhere else after that, who knows? But I hope that move happens for him.
Yeah, I think for me, one position after watching that Crystal Palace game and seeing Thiago Silva, that man is actually ageless. Yeah, he put on another masterclass, and I just thought like without him on defense,
oh man,
Chelsea would be in shambles. First off. So that's kind of a scary statement because how old is Thiago Silva?
That's what
Do you know what I mean? And then when I look at the rest of the defense as well, when Reece James is injured, your only suitable replacement is Azpilicueta, who isn't a guarantee for next season.
Nope. Even if he was a guarantee, I wouldn't want him to be a guarantee.
You know what I mean? Like, and he's not as significant. Like that replacement kind of sucks. Reece James is world class. Yeah. You look at their left back situation. Lewis Hall. My hat goes off to him. I think he's playing absolutely out of his skin. That's not his position.
No.
He's not a left back.
What about
He's doing very well to like hold it down, but I think one of the biggest things to push would be getting somebody in that back line. Yeah. You know, getting another right back or left back.
Defenders. They
definitely need Cucurella, you thought maybe under Graham Potter, when Graham Potter came back and started coaching him, he'd start to thrive, but he's kind of relapsed. Yeah. You know, that price tag, I think has gone into his head, and he's just not playing the way he was. So he's not your starter. He's also injured right now, but whatever.
I think I like him coming off the bench, being like a little bit of a reliever, but I don't think he's that guy to be starting, especially for Chelsea. Like Chelsea,
it also sucks that Chelsea's so plagued with injuries this year. I know
that doesn't help. That doesn't help the situation, but I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta work with what you got.
Especially if you're a European top 5 team type of thing, you have to look at us, be able to be stretched.
Look at Juve at the beginning of the year. Look at Juve last year. We had the most injuries last year. This year, like the beginning, we were starting every week. It was like, okay, Pogba's out. We already had Chiesa. Then Vlahovic was out. Then this guy's out. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, dude, we had all these youngsters starting, but you got to find a way.
Yeah.
So like I know it does suck, the injuries and stuff, and it is more competitive in that league, and like it's a different kind of style. But hey, you got to work with what you got.
Yeah.
No one's gonna help you if you're crying or whatever. You got to do it. You still got to get it done.
And on that note of getting it done, we're done. I'm done.
Joe just ends it right there.
This episode was recorded, and both me and Al are a little bit under the weather. I don't know if you could tell by our voices.
I don't know if we're a little bit more sexy
and
deeper today, but we're a little bit under the weather. This shitty Canada weather is looking a little bit more like England weather than Canada in recent times, but
we're not American TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone assumes we're American, but no, we're not American. That's disgusting. We're Canadian.
We watch soccer.
Yes. Well, soccer,
I was
football.
Personally attacked. I was personally offended. Al didn't care.
It's all United fans, man. They cry about everything. Do you say one thing about United and everybo's at your throat?
Yeah,
fuck off.
Congratulations, just you guys are finally doing a little bit of like decent work right now. Woo! But on that note,
I was gonna say that too.
I know, that's why I was gonna stop then, and you were gonna take over.
On that note, guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Ultras11. And other than that, we'll see you next week, guys. Ciao.